Hi Sagittarius, and welcome to your June 2020 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to bring you hopefully another amazing reading for your month ahead. I'm really happy about what I'm seeing for you, Sagittarius. So you've been one of the signs that I've been a little bit more concerned about. We've had some more difficult readings this year as your home planet of Jupiter has moved into its debilitated sign of Capricorn. It's always a 1 year within the 12-year cycle that happens that can be a little bit tough and pessimistic for Sagittarius. But now that it's gone retrograde and now that you've seen the problem that's been presented, okay, or the few sets of problems that have been presented, I think that you move into a much more solution-oriented mindset in the month of June. I think that you see realities. I think you see this month what your essence is and what you're meant for and where your motivation lies. And I think that you have a very solid opportunity for healing and grace and authenticity to be achieved in the month of June. So congratulations, Sagittarius, through this hard work, through some of these grinding experiences, and through pessimistic people or unsure scenarios, you are leveling up and you are having a great opportunity in the month of June. So an opportunistic energy coming in for you, an energy of comfort, an energy of renown as well. But not without its fair share of conflict and not without certain sacrifices made, it seems to me. The only issues that I see coming in for you are 5 of Wands and 3 of Swords. You also have 4 of Swords reversed. So you are kind of maybe in a new feeling predicament when it comes to stress or coping with even things that happened quite a while ago, or also just seeing the totality of what you've put most of your energy into for a few years now. You are also then raising that up into the level of like conflict here. So there is a bit of conflict in the month of June, a major decision to make, a progression, and a strong empowerment as well. So I know we're talking about a lot of different things coming in here, Sages. And what I've really seen to be clear for everybody this month is that it's really a matter of putting one foot in front of the other. And for you, Sag, you're already in good territory. You're already probably doing better than you think that you are. You already have the means to make the progress that you want to make. And, you know, there's a level of also being okay with where you're at that I think is so important for you in the month of June, okay? You are a sign that deals with future opportunity. And Sagittarius is always wanting to understand the principles and the higher level of what this, microcosm that you're in brings. And that is not so widely available this year. As we move towards 2021, Sagittarius, you will really get a chance to reform yourself, reinvigorate yourself, rejuvenate yourself, but there's probably a bit of healing that needs to take place first. There's probably a bit of solidification and commitment that needs to take place first, a bit of energetic surgery, and June feels like the starting ground, the understanding point of where that is. So let's talk about the week to week, Sagittarius. We'll talk about each week of June, and I will be putting together an extended reading on Patreon if you guys would like to check that out. It'll be linked below and it'll be in the center of the screen at the end of the video. But in the first week of June, Sagittarius, you have the Magician rooted down by 5 of Wands. So know that any conflict, any arguments, any inner sense of turmoil that may even become angry, know that those feelings are not in vain. Your senses are going to very clearly identify the territory or the theme or the ambience of what you don't want to be known as or seen as or working with, and you have to then take that into your own hands and sculpt the reality that you want with what you have now. So a really great switch coming in for you in the first week of June, Sagittarius, where you feel like, okay, I'm not going to be sculpted by the universe and by other people. I'm going to sculpt my reality versus letting just these other outside factors sculpt it. I do feel Sagittarius to be a little bit non-action oriented right now, where you're like, well, I know that it's not quite right. I know that it's not quite where I want it to be, but it's out of my hands and it's just getting like sculpted. And Yeah, you take it into your hands in the first week of June, Sag, and whatever environmental changes need to take place in your own life to get that on track, that could be considered a necessity at this point in time. So having means at your disposal, pentacles, cups, swords, wands, time, money, energy, motivation, you have it, okay? You have those things at your disposal, and now you can wield them. And you're going to need to wield them very well for the rest of this year. It takes diligence, Sagittarius. It takes refinement. It takes responsibility. It takes focus. And it takes a lot of attention, okay? This is not the time for attention deficit, okay? And if you're struggling with that, if you can't feel like you can wrap your mind around things, or you don't feel like you can't quite figure things out, you can't quite compute, okay? We need an intervention, okay? There's an intervention and a big change for a Sagittarius who cannot quite compute, not quite get their mind around it right now. And it's natural, again, when Jupiter is in Capricorn, this is not the healthiest version of your natal energy transiting in the sky. Your home planet is not in an energy that it cares for, because it really has to have this like laser focus, refined, complete 1,000,000% attention onto the minute details of every transaction, of every idea, of every single energetic output. And it's not really what Jupiter is about. So it's not going to feel the super, super easy, Sagittarius, but this is the time that you really build the foundation, and you also see how to know that things can't get worse in a way either. And what do I mean by that? Through getting through this situation that you're in, Sagittarius, and getting through the rest of the year and making this work, if you can do this, you can do anything. This is what the Jupiter and Capricorn time period is for a Sagittarius. And we're already just about halfway through that, Sag. So we're at a testing point with it. It's retrograde, it's testing us, and it'll go direct, and we'll get our test scores, and not much longer, Sag, do you have to deal with these weird things that you're dealing with. But, you have to let yourself have these capabilities, okay, that that you need right now, okay? The capability to understand your impression, your projection, what you want, and the capability to also do it on your own if you had to. And through being able to do that, you can face anything. Okay, Sag, let's move on. Because in the first week, okay, you have the power to do whatever it is that you want. Like, don't worry about it. Try to not discourage yourself, but be responsible. Week number 2, you have 9 of Pentacles rooted down by the star. This is some of the most beautiful energy that I've seen for your sign all year. Congratulations, Sagittarius. So, discovery. Being discovered in the second week of June. Being seen for your innate positive qualities, what you can offer, being recognized, and being becoming your reputation as well. So this is a reputational time for you, Sagittarius, week number 2 of June. Reputational, recognition, verification, and also truth, okay? It's not bad at all to confide in somebody during that time. It's not bad at all to let something go, to let bygones be bygones, to breathe and heal and just take in the environment. Great time to be near the water, to be near the ocean. I'm not sure in the second week of June where we'll be with social distancing or anything like that. So that depends on circumstances. But, that aside, it's great to, have a bath or to do a salt scrub or something that is cleansing and purifying, because I do feel a purification energy coming in for you there. And breathing like you have not breathed before, okay? Really making up for lost time when it comes to breath, when it comes to also understanding how you want the world to nurture you. As I kind of feel like there's a few orphan vibes coming from you, okay? And that's okay. It's temporary, I think that you are kind of walking around and saying like, okay, are you my caretaker? Are you my parent? And you only maybe have yourself to some degree. The star is about innate selfhood, complete self-reliance, independence, and what it actually takes to have self-reliance, which is not much. Okay, we see nudity depicted in the star, which means that our clothing and all of these things that we have and these materialistic ideas, these are not versions of ourself. These are not necessary. And whereas the Nine of Pentacles is clothed, and we have this dynamic coming in for you in the second week, Sag, of what is the value that I'm placing into my clothing, into my shell, into my things that don't necessarily define me, but help other people to define me. We have a bit of maybe, what do I want to say? Class frustration. Okay. Might be something to really pay attention to as a Sagittarius. As most Sagittarians do not fall into a specific class. Okay. The Sagittarius-Gemini axis sort of breaks with traditional class settings. So you never really know whether a Sagittarius is rich or poor or, does this or that. Who cares, anyway. But watch out for getting too class oriented. It's not really for Sagittarius to orient the class system. And again, Jupiter's in Capricorn, and Capricorn is about class system and class orientation. So your energy gets a little bit shifted into that during this year, and the less lines that you can sign on, I want to say, the less Gollum-like experience you can get where you're like, oh my gosh, money or, cars or houses, the less of that, the better, Sagittarius. This is a kind of a passing phase for you. And I would watch out for what you try to cling to at this time. Because you're a philosophical energy. Okay. You're an intangible. So all of these real world things, oftentimes, even if they stay long, even if you're, 1% and you've got everything in the world, for a Sagittarius, it usually doesn't mean that much once they have it. So if you see a very, very wealthy Sagittarius, they really don't care much for all these possessions. But if you see a very, a Sagittarius who's struggling more during a Jupiter in Capricorn, they can start to think, oh, if I just had more, if I just had a bit more money, or if I just had a bit more things, don't worry about it, Sag. Nourish you, build you, be seen for you, get out there, let people see you, depending on, obviously, don't get into crowds if there's still, I don't know where things are going to be in the second week of June when it comes to social distancing. But moving on, week number 3, you have Four of Swords reversed, rooted down by King of Pentacles. So a break from work, that could be, some of you may have already had that. A resting phase, a relaxation into a certain top of the mountain that you've gotten to, relaxing into an apex. You've achieved something during the third week, but you do feel tired to me, so take that time to rejuvenate as much as possible. Maybe get some Himalayan salt lamps or something, Sag. That's a really nice energy for you. You need a few comforting things right now, I will not lie to you. With the Nine of Pentacles, with the Star, 5 of Wands and 3 of Swords, if the lighting is wrong, or if something is adding to the harshness within, it could be a discouraging feeling. So try to soften up the lights around you. Put in some Himalayan salt lamps into your house. Take salt baths. It's not hard for Sag to get an attachment right now. So really be mindful of what is trying to express through you, these collective themes or these past versions of yourself that are no longer in the driver's seat, or the wants of other people manifesting through you with, not great intentions, but you can't quite see that yet. Watch out for that, Sag. Make space for you. Let yourself in the driver's seat and show yourself that you can drive in the lines, in the speed limit. We're in a Capricorn year. Sagittarius is kind of like, oh, I'm just going to drive on the wrong side of the road, or I'm going to drive, twice the speed limit. And that is kind of a Sagittarian type of concept. And you have to prove, Sag, that you can drive in the lines and in the speed limit this year. Okay. Because there's speeding tickets. Okay. If not, the second that you get out of line, the second that you speed, you can be forgiven really easily. You're a very lucky sign. You are the type of sign where the, you get pulled over and the officer's like, well, I'll just give you a warning. But this is one of those rare years, Sages, where those types of lucks are not so graspable unless you have great karma on your side or something. But so you got to do things in the straight and narrow right now. You really do, especially by the time that Jupiter gets retrograde in stations and then goes direct again. That's especially even more so. So start just warming yourself up and acclimating to the idea of really doing things by the book and doing things right. You'll save yourself a lot of like sleepless nights and things like that. So week number 4, Sag, 3 of Swords, rooted down by the Lovers. So, oh gosh, and I'm not going to curse, but I'm getting a few things in very clearly psychically. To put it without cursing, as to not demonetize this video, you feel like you've screwed up. You feel like you messed up. You feel like you should not be at the crossroads. You're like, why am I making these decisions now? You might miss somebody from the past. Somebody who came in might go right back out. Okay. That doesn't mean that that's necessarily going to happen. Don't let it become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But for Sagittarius, you are doing away with how prone you are to what 3 of Swords is. So what is 3 of Swords for those of us who aren't so familiar with the tarot? 3 of Swords is that first heartbreak. You know, if you can think back to the first difficult breakup that you had in your life, and how difficult that was, you know, the first long-term relationship that you did not want to end, but just got stripped away from you. That is the feeling of 3 of Swords. So it's, and you kind of know how like each breakup kind of gets easier after that. Because you're leaving that 3 of Swords energy, you're moving on and you're growing as a person. So there could be that initial breakup, like that initial job loss or that initial breakup, but you're placed right into this incredible karmic path with that. So Sag, I want you to remember, where one thing is taken away, you are really reacclimating yourself to the path you're meant to be on. It's primordially when one door closes, another one opens energy. And I know that that's a little bit like stereotypical, but honestly, Sagittarius, I'm more of a philosophy channel. You know, this channel is about esoterics right now, and it's astrology. I'm an astrologer. I love astrology so much, and it's coming through as tarot, but I'm more about philosophy than I am. I'm not here to tell your fortune. I'm not here to predict your future for you. I'm not here to tell you how your life's going to be. I'm here to talk about the potentials. I'm here to talk about philosophy. I'm here to talk about the human condition, and any sign could actually watch this and it would most likely resonate. But through seeing the planets and through understanding your energy, Sagittarius, I can talk about the philosophical concepts that are coming in for you. And the 4th week is like one door opens and another closes. One door closes and another one opens. You have to trust in the universe's method of changing your path if it's necessary. Because you can get a little bit rigid in a year like this, you know. And this is what I tell Cancers, because, you know, Sagittarius typically is not a rigid sign. Okay, let's talk about a more rigid sign. What I tell Cancer is that, you know, because Cancer is the crab, so we've all seen videos where a crab will like latch on to the skin of a human and it won't let go. And unfortunately, the strength of the human is much more than the crab, so it's so easy for the human just to pull a little bit harder and just tear off the crab's claw. In a situation like this, Sagittarius, sometimes we can let go by free will and save ourselves a lot of trouble. Okay, it's not going to resonate for everybody. Like, I don't think that every single Sag out there, okay, is in this territory where they're holding on to something they don't need to be holding on to. But if that resonates for you, Sag, what a great time in the 4th week of June to just have a natural release. Okay, a natural letting go. And seeing like how much that helps. And, you know, if the universe kind of tears off the proverbial crab claw, okay, you know, what do I tell Cancers when that happens? Beware of the humans, you know, beware of the humans. But what is a bigger lesson above that is just like, why'd you have to latch onto it? What did it ever give? You know, were you afraid of the human? Was it a defense mechanism? You know, were you angry? Were you, was it an instinct? You know, all of these are really good thought forms for you, Sagittarius. Sorry, I have a loud neighbor. I don't know if you guys heard, but I apologize. These are all good thought forms for you, Sag. Why was I here? Was it instinct? Was it fear? Was it anger? Was it resolve? Was it, understanding your motivation is one of the most empowering things for you right now, because through understanding that, you really get in touch with your own Midas touch as a Sagittarius. And that Midas touch might not really be working as well this year, but you can understand the blueprinting of it. You can understand the grid of it. You can understand the magic that is in that Midas touch, so that when it's time to use that, new year of 2021, once we get into a more Aquarian time, Sag, let me tell you, that is a totally reformative, explicitly transformative energy for you that really empowers your good side. But that's not quite there yet. So don't do things in an undercooked way, Sag. If you have to move out, if you have to make a change, if you have to go crazy, you probably want to save just as much as you spend, or try, or think about that way. It's not the time to just get rid of everything, to just fly off, to just spend your life savings to no avail. Because I feel that you guys have temptations like that. You're like, well, if this is what life is going to be, I'm just going to blow it all and have a decent time of things. And Sagittarius, try to see the light at the end of the tunnel and understand where your value is and where you want your value to be and how you want your value to work or not for you. So thank you so much for being here, Sagittarius. Beautiful, beautiful energy. I kind of enjoy this. It's kind of like a fun riddle with your energy right now. You are like sort of like the energy of a sphinx as well. You are like the riddle solver. You are the neutral sometimes. You are the sort of the apolitical, what side is Sagittarius on? How is Sagittarius moving through this? This is your strength right now. Let there be a little bit of curiosity perhaps, but keep it straight and narrow. Okay. How can we bring those two things together? I don't know. Food for thought. Anyway, Sagittarius, we're going to do an extended reading on Patreon. I want all of you to come over and watch it. So click the center of the video right now. We're going to look at a central theme, 2 supporting themes. Your likes, comments, subscribes here on YouTube make my day. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, Sagittarius, let's look at this even deeper. Long reading, but I don't care. Let's just dive in even deeper. Okay, Sagittarius, bye.